Hi, I'm Ilya from Bitskout, and in this short video I wanted to show you how you can extract data from your invoices into Google Sheets using Zapier. To do that, we would need to use Bitskout, and as you probably know, we have a large template library with lots of documents that you can already with lots of templates that you can already use for your documents. And the invoice is one of the typical templates people start using our platform with. And it's here. You can see the details, okay? And you can test it by loading an invoice, but most importantly, you can use a sample scenario. Now, so if you click here, this scenario, Dropbox with Bitskout and Asana will be automatically created and you can start setting it up. But in order for this video to show it from scratch, so you would learn a little bit how you can use Zapier, especially with line items, we'll create it ourselves. And we will start by searching for an app called Gmail. And we will connect it with Bitskout. Okay. And then we can use new attachment. And then, okay. So that will create a kind of ready-made scenario. So let's start setting it up. Okay, yes, we'll use Bitskout. I'm using my email. Typically in this case, I would highly recommend you to create an email called invoices@company.com. But for our test, I'm just using mine. And this is why I'm gonna add here subject like this, so I can only look for these emails. Okay, let's test the trigger. Okay, so here we are, we have one attachment. Let's take this one and let's continue. So the next step is typically what you want to do is you want to save the file, because what happens is that when you receive emails with invoices, they contain files, but then if you need to go back to the file, like it's very difficult to go to an email. So I recommend you save it to Dropbox or to Google Drive, depending on what you use. So I'm gonna skip that step because it's super straightforward. And then let's go to Bitskout. Then you need to choose your account, which is fine. And then you need to use a plugin called Invoices. Okay, I have mine plugin here. And then the file URL, in this case, you need to choose attachment. Okay, because Zapier will prepare this attachment for us to run. And let's run it. Okay, the reason why we need to run it, we're gonna get some data out of it and we will see which fields Bitskout extracts, then you can map it into a Google Sheet. Okay, so here we are. These are all the fields that we extract. Okay, so the next step is to write it into Google Sheet. Let's find one. Okay, now we need to create a spreadsheet row. Yes, my account. Then the drive, I have my own drive for this test, and I already have a spreadsheet called Invoices. Yes, and the worksheet there is sheet 1. Okay, and it's prepared for line items. Okay, let me fix it. Let's just add a different sheet and call here file name, invoice ID, date, vendor. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we're gonna take a different sheet and yes. So here is the file name, attachment, then invoice ID is also here. Okay. So that's it. Now you have this spreadsheet row ready. Okay, not much data from this example. Let's run a different example. Let's choose attachment F. Okay. Let's run it again. So we can at least get a little bit more data to write to Google Sheet to show you how it appears. But not always you will have all the data, because this plugin is used to analyze receipts, and receipts do not have everything. So okay, so a little bit more. Okay, let's test it. Okay. So here we are. So the data is inside. All right. This is how you do that. So the next step, I wanted to show you how you can work with line items. Now, with line items, it's a bit tricky. So first thing that we need to do is we need to take formatter, and you have their utilities. And at the end, I will share this scenario so you can use it. Okay, but I just wanted to show you how it works. You need to import a CSV file. So the CSV file in this case is hidden in Bitskout line items here. It's actual CSV. Now, first header is a row, first row is a header row, and everything else is like that. So now if you run it, then it will take this line item CSV and then it will break it down into items. Here it is. Okay. But now the challenge is, like, you cannot write it directly to Google Sheets like that. So you need to loop over each item. And for that, Zapier has a looping functionality, which is quite tricky to use. So I don't have explanation for everything. So just like it works like this. Now here, what you need to do is you need to create a variable, a value, let's call it description, and tell Zapier what is the description, okay, from the previous CSV. And these are the fields that it will take from that CSV and give you so you can write them. Okay, very tricky, but okay. Okay, price. And let's add quantity. Okay, just to have it. Okay, so now that's how it works. Okay, so let's test the action. You will see that we will get each value separately, you see, and this how you named it. And now, only now, you can write each value into a Google Sheet. As you remember, I have here the example. Let's clear it out. And what we're going to do is we're gonna write it into Google Sheets one by one. Okay, a little bit expensive, but there is nothing else we can do here. Okay, and now we will choose the spreadsheet is invoices, yes. And then a worksheet is sheet 1. And here we are. So again, here you would probably want to know what's the file name. You would also probably want to know what's the invoice ID, because then you can find it later on. And then this is where we map the, not this one, description, quantity from a loop, okay, from a loop, and total. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, so here we are. All right, So this is how you extract data from an invoice, including line items, to Google Sheets.